Georgia O'Keeffe, My New Yorks, is highly recommended. This is Reno Lovison, executive producer at ChicagoBroadcastingNetwork.com. If you think you know something about Georgia O'Keeffe, be prepared to be pleasantly surprised. Yes, there are one or two bleached skulls and a few super close-ups of interiors of flowers, but overall this exhibit, entitled My New Yorks, focuses mainly on the work she did during the 1920s while married to famed American photographer and gallery owner Alfred Stieglitz. The couple lived at the Shelton Hotel, which at the time was one of the city's tallest buildings, offering the highest living space in New York City. From this vantage point, the two visual artists could witness the growth of the sprawling metropolis. They each derived inspiration from the crush of towering buildings and the interesting shapes provided, both while looking up during walks at street level, as well as from their particular bird's-eye view. O'Keeffe continued her work with abstracts by making impressions of the city in which she hoped to capture not simply what it looked like, but rather how it felt. Massive structures dominate her canvases and spill off the edges as though they're unable to be contained. Her styles at this time seem to have generally drifted away from her previous more colorful works and amorphous forms, and instead varied from monochromatic abstracts to more realistic sepia-toned cityscapes, reminiscent of Stieglitz photos. There are also some waterfront images and building compositions that include shocks of color between or behind a darker field of monolithic structures, as though the natural world was trying to break through this concrete barrier. It's notable to mention that her work is virtually devoid of human subjects or foliage. One exception depicts a small sprig from what might be the stem of a flower, comprised of a few green leaves, sitting on a windowsill, with the sharp-edged shapes of the city below. This is one of the few organic and curved subjects in what is otherwise a collection of geometric designs, often drawn with nearly draftsman-like precision. It's during this time that O'Keeffe made the first of what would be many visits to the American Southwest. She brought back at least one cow skull which adorned her apartment terrace, and many bleached bones. It's here in New York that she began to work with the subject matter that would be most identified with her. Another odd exception that includes organic forms is the random placement of colorful flowers in a 1932 work entitled Manhattan. The large composition of skyscrapers is itself more colorful, and it's been suggested that the flowers are a nod toward her growing love and interest of the American Southwest, which will ultimately come to dominate the latter part of her career. It's fitting that this collection be exhibited here in Chicago. Born in Sun Prairie, Wisconsin, she studied at the School of the Art Institute from 1905 to 1906. In later years, she made several donations of her work and the work of Stieglitz to the museum. A complimentary audio tour is available on the free Art Institute of Chicago app, which can be listened to via your smartphone. Georgia O'Keeffe, My New Yorks, is at the Art Institute of Chicago at Michigan Avenue and Monroe Streets through September 22, 2024. General admission plus an extra fee for the exhibit is required. For details, visit the Art Institute of Chicago. This is Reno Lovison, executive producer at ChicagoBroadcastingNetwork.com. I don't profess to be any kind of art expert outside of one college art appreciation course and whatever information I've picked up here and there over the years. Be sure to like or share this podcast if you enjoy the content we provide. By the way, if you're a Bank of America customer, be sure to look for their once-a-month free admission to the Museum Day. There are also free days for Illinois residents and employees of certain other Chicago companies. There's so much to see you can hardly scratch the surface in one or two visits. Keep in mind that there is audio content for many key paintings and sculptures throughout the museum that will add a depth of knowledge and understanding to your visit. Be sure to take a look at our video profiles of Chicago artists Sandra Hollabo and Julia Umke, as well as highlights from a few past art fairs at ChicagoBroadcastingNetwork.com. Just choose Art at the top of the categories menu. As always, if you need assistance with audio or video marketing related to your company or organization, check out renoweb.net. Let's end this podcast with a couple of bars of our sometimes themed song, Foster Avenue Beach, by Steve Solomon.
To the lake with the song, or 5244, Foster Avenue Yes, I took it to